Daniela Dimitrescu, aka Nicole Tompkins, and you're watching Crisy Rivera. So you finally came to see me. Everyone falls for me in time.
Hola amigos, ¿cómo están? Mi nombre es Crisy Rivera y el día de hoy les tenemos una entrevista súper especial con Nicole Tompkins, la persona que le da la vida a un súper personaje, Jill Valentine de Resident Evil 3, y también ahora a Daniela Dimitrescu y Elena en Resident Evil 8.
Mother Miranda, I regret to inform you that Ethan Winters has escaped that fool Heisenberg. Because he is in my castle and has already proven too much for my daughters to handle. When I find him... No, Mother Miranda. Yes, of course, I understand the importance of the ceremony. I won't let you down.
Can someone please tell me what the hell is going on here?
No. The place is full of nothing but blood and death.
Well, Ethan Winters. There you are.
Hi Nicole, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It is my absolute pleasure. So incredibly exciting. It was so fun to see fans from all over the world. It's been such a mind-blowing experience to get to connect with people everywhere.
So how are you feeling these couple of weeks since Village came out?
Oh my goodness. It has been a pretty crazy couple of weeks. I don't know if you've noticed, but Resident Evil Village is being very well received and
Yes.
it's doing very well right now. So myself and a bunch of the other actors have had just so much love headed our direction. It's been both overwhelming and also just absolutely amazing. I wouldn't have it any other way.
I wanted to talk about a little bit about your character as Jill Valentine. How was your reaction when you first got called to play her?
Oh my goodness. I did a whole audition process and I
Okay.
figured out pretty early on this is Jill Valentine. This is very clearly Jill. It was all easy, but I was like, that's Jill Valentine. I know who that is.
Nikolai!
Jill!
Go after Nikolai! He's got the vaccine! Look, just so you know, this is the last fucking time.
And so when I finally got the call that I got it, I kind of felt like I was probably pretty in the running because I had done a callback session that went very well with the director, Steve Weebly, and people from the producing team. And so I was like, I had a pretty good feeling. I was like, I think. So when I got the call, I was just beyond excited. Though I don't know if I knew just how special it was going to be, or how much attention or just love was going to be thrown my direction. I think at the time it was I knew this was very cool, and I was so focused on just bringing Miss Valentine to life, as you would be when you're acting.
So how did you feel when you got called back for Resident Evil 8 as Daniela or Elena? I don't know how how that went out, but you can tell us a little bit more about that.
Steve Weebly was the cinematic director for Resident Evil 3. He also did all the motion capture direction for Resident Evil Village.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was one of the first people that called me and he was like, hey, there's this small role. Her name's Elena. I've got approval if you want to come back and do her. And I was like, oh my gosh, I would love to come back. Just getting to work with Capcom at all and getting to work with some of the really talented people at the Workhouse, which was a production team in Los Angeles, was just so special. And then they also had other people back from RE3, my co-stars Neil Newbon and Jeff Shine, and a whole bunch of actors from RE7 also had the opportunity to come back. So it just was a big, joyful reunion. And then Daniela was actually added. They were like, oh, and also, you want to do Daniela too? She's a witch vampire sister.
You're like, yes.
I was like, great, sounds awesome. And then we got to the set, and that's when we started to figure out, oh, she's, these sisters are awesome.
Mother, I bring you fresh prey.
You are so kind to me, daughters. Now, let's take a look at him. Well, Ethan Winters. You escaped my little brother's idiot games, did you? Let's see how special you are.
So we had a lot of fun kind of developing how they sounded and how they were going to walk. And obviously the game devs had a strong vision for what House Dimitrescu was going to look like.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. I love all the memes, everything that they've taken out, especially all this mother and daughter kind of situation. It's amazing. I love it.
So much. When we couldn't say anything, but Lady D was first blowing up, and Maggie Robertson, who plays Lady Dimitrescu, and I were like texting back and forth, and so I would send her fan arts and like memes that I thought were super funny, and she would do the same. Because at that time we couldn't say anything, so we were just like secretly being super hyped with the rest of the internet.
Being supportive between you can't say anything.
Exactly. You gotta have someone to like share your enthusiasm with.
And did any fans guess you were in Resident Evil 8?
No. After the demo, I mean, the first trailer, there was definitely some people that were like, "You're Elena," because Elena sounds pretty similar to me, except that she's just like always really scared.
Yeah.
So Elena was not very far from my actual voice, and so a lot of people were like, "You're Elena." And then when the demo came out, like the first demo had all of Elena's entire story from beginning to end.
He's not used to relying on other people. I'm sorry. We'll be safe in here, won't we?
Safer here than out there, that's for sure. Hey, do you know anything about what's going on around here?
It doesn't make any sense. Mother Miranda has always protected us.
Nobody's answer.
Father?
So I was just like, oh, well, there you go, there's Elena. But I still couldn't say anything, so I had lots of people being like, "You're Elena," and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. So it's lots of just waiting till the go time to actually get to confirm.
Talk to us a little bit about film acting versus mocap.
Yeah, so I always say performance capture is kind of this like marriage between film acting and theater, because you end up doing really long takes like you would in theater, like doing a full play, but it has a very cinematic quality to it. It's incredibly technical, and camera placements are going to happen in very specific ways that you don't always know where the camera's going to be, because they can set all of that later. So yeah, it really just depends. The difference is, when you're doing performance capture, you're in a wetsuit with a bunch of balls and markers all over your body and face paint. And in film and TV, you're in wardrobe, and you're doing shorter spots of the scenes because they have all these different camera angles that they have to capture. So yeah, it's, as far as the actual process, I think some technicalities definitely changed, but one of the things that I respected the most when I first got to do my first performance capture job in Middle-earth: Shadow of War, Lord of the Rings game, was how committed the actors and the directors and the artists were to like bringing the best story possible, the best performance possible, the best narrative possible into this game. And I've really loved to see how kind of this appreciation for cinematic performance and acting has continued to evolve in video games, to the point now that we're in these games that look like giant movies. And I just think that's really, really special. So I've really enjoyed being part of kind of this generation of games.
A little bit about Twitch. I know you're streaming, I think you're streaming right now Resident Evil 8 on Twitch with Maggie.
I'm streaming Village. Yep, I'm streaming Village right now. I started streaming last year when Resident Evil 3 came out, and was like, maybe a couple people will want to like hang out and watch while I play.
My piano teacher would be so proud, considering I barely learned to read music, but I did sure learn to play by ear.
Yeah, so now you just got that key for the upstairs.
Oh, so nice. Oh. Okay,
so yeah,
should we go?
Just head upstairs.
You guys want to go to the library and check out? Oh my god! What? Why?
out a lot of people wanted to hang out and watch while I play. And so I just continue doing it because it's such a fun way to connect. It came during, you know, a pandemic when we were all looking for, you know, digital ways to connect with each other. So I think that was really special. And so yeah, now that Village is out, I've been playing through Village and I've been bringing on other actors. Maggie and I are going to play like 2 parts of it together. We've played one already and we have one coming up. And then I'm going to have on Paula Rhodes, who plays Angie, and some of the other actors as well, so that you get a chance to kind of like hear their behind the scenes experience. Because the games are huge, so there's so many different, like, I should say the map is, like, there's so many different sections. And so like hearing the different like processes for each house is kind of interesting.
Yeah, I also played it. It's so much fun. I actually want to play it again because I missed out like a lot of secret stuff or other things I found out on the internet. Like, what? I didn't see that. So
yeah.
I'll play it again. It's too much fun. Are you into the horror genre? Because there's the video games, but there's also some movies. I know you're in Antrim.
Yes. I am. You know what's really funny? I, growing up, was never like a huge horror fan. I loved a good like psychological thriller or something that like really made your mind work.
Yeah.
But I was never like, horror is my genre. And then I started doing a lot of work in horror games and a couple horror movies. And I think the survival horror aspect of the games has been incredibly I've learned to appreciate so much of it, and I've also learned so much from the fans that appreciate it as well. So like I'm definitely expanding my personal tastes. From a performance perspective, like it's always fun. I'm always game. But from like personally enjoying it, like it's really been interesting to watch how my own tastes have evolved, getting to like play these games and get excited with people. So yeah, film-wise, I'm still such a baby. When people are like, do you want to go see this horror movie? I'm like, kind of. I don't know. Which is hilarious because, you know, I have a few horror films.
Yeah, I was like, she has to be full into horror. But that's
just the way that it happens, you know?
It calls to you. It wants to be part of
apparently, you know, you just end up in certain projects. But every project that I've done so far has, you know, just been a blessing in its own way, regardless of genre. It's just been about the people that you work with and about the story that you're telling. And I think that really transcends, you know, any genre. Genres can be really fun, but it's always about like who you're working with and the material that you're working with that kind of makes or breaks a project.
Well, Ethan Winters. There you are.
Muchas gracias. Thank you so much for being here. It's been such a pleasure to get to speak with you. And also to all of the amazing Resident Evil fans in Panama.
Y esto fue todo por hoy. Espero que les haya gustado y quédense atentos porque tenemos a alguien más de la familia Dimitrescu que nos va a estar acompañando. Recuerden que me pueden seguir en todas mis redes sociales como @Crisy Rivera en Twitter, Twitch o en Instagram. Y pues nada, nos vemos en la próxima. Chao.